Hi everyone, welcome. I'm Heather and I'm the Bent Yogi. Welcome to Mindful Monday. This is a short practice with some gentle movement, breathing, and the opportunity to practice meditation. For this practice, you can sit on the ground, you can sit on a prop like a block or a blanket, and if you are more comfortable, you can absolutely sit in your chair. Just have your feet flat on the ground. And before we even get started, I want to ask that if you enjoy this practice with me, please subscribe to my channel and help me share this by sharing this with your friends. Make yourself comfortable. Take your seat. And you can sit cross-legged. Like I said, you can sit in a chair. If you want to sit on your knees, really make yourself comfortable so you can sit tall and upright. And find a comfortable place for your hands. You might let your hands rest on your knees or in your lap. And yes, sit tall and upright. You can draw your low belly in and up. Let the crown of your head reach up towards the sky. Soften your shoulders down and back. A lot of the times when we're seated, we're collapsing in on ourselves. And even just that can make it a little more difficult to take a really big breath in. So sit tall and upright so you can begin to take a couple of really good deep breaths. And you can set your gaze to one point here. Maybe you lower your gaze or even close your eyes. I'm going to close my eyes. Soften your face and your jaw. And you might, even before you begin to take some deep breaths, you might simply begin to notice your breath. Are you taking deep breaths already, or is your breath more shallow? Is your breath balanced? Does it feel even? Or does it feel like your inhale or your exhale is longer? As you start to bring attention to your breath, you might begin to lengthen it and deepen it. And as you do that, do you feel like you're struggling to take a big breath in? And is it challenging to allow an even and measured exhale? And those are all things that you can just begin to notice. And if you notice any unevenness with your breath or any kind of a struggle or restriction with your breath, you don't have to be forceful in changing it. Instead, you might feel for softening your shoulders, softening your face and your jaw, softening your fingers and your toes, and softening your approach to this practice today. Still absolutely feeling if you can lengthen your breath and deepen your breath and allow a balanced breath. But maybe with a softer, gentler approach, more compassionate approach. And sometimes when I teach, often when I teach, I cue the breath. I cue the inhale and I cue the exhale. But often, also, our breathing is different. So today I'm simply going to invite you to keep paying attention to your breath. And just feel what you can do. And can you let this work for you? I believe you can let this work for you. Checking in here that you're still seated tall and upright. I know I have the tendency to start to lean forward when I sit in meditation. Feel that your spine is long, the crown of your head reaching up towards the sky. If you're not forcing your breath, you might better be able to soften your shoulders, soften your face, your jaw. And you might breathe through your nose. It might work better to breathe through your mouth. Notice if you're clenching your fingers, allow some softness there. If you're clenching your toes, you can soften your toes. You might notice if there is a persistent thought that keeps coming up, that you keep hanging on to even. Allow there to be some softness with that. Keep coming back to your breath. Now here, staying tall and upright. Reach your arms up to the sky. On an inhale, lift your arms up. And take a couple of breaths here. Extending through the sides of your body. You might feel or imagine or visualize extending your breath right up to the tips of your fingers. And you can still soften your shoulders. Keep your face and your jaw soft. And take another deep breath in here. And as you exhale, let your right arm come to your left knee and let your left arm come back behind you. So really gentle twist. Feel where your hands land. Notice if your breath feels any different here in your body. Notice if your ability to breathe changes in any way. And you can be really curious about all of this, about your breath, about what you feel. You can even be a little curious about the stuff that comes up in your head. But you don't have to attach to any of that, cultivating some softness so you can come back to this breath in this moment. And take another breath here. And as you inhale, come on back to center and once more, reach your hands up. Tall through the sides of your body. You might imagine or even feel a little more space between each of your ribs. And take another deep breath in here. And on your exhale, let your left hand come to your right knee and your right hand come back behind you, gently twisting to the other side. You might feel a sensation of twisting or even rinsing in your spine, in your belly. If it works for your neck, you can turn your face a little more over your right shoulder. Be gentle with this. Sometimes it works better, feels better to keep your head more in line with your shoulders. And that's something you can be curious about too. There's a lot of room. There's a lot of space. And even softness when we're curious. When we decide that we have all the answers, there's not a lot of possibility, and there's almost a quality of hardening. As you inhale, once more come back to center, reach your arms up. And as you exhale, let your hands again come to rest on your knees or in your lap. In the space of meditation. There's a lot of possibility, a lot of potential. And there is a quality of softening. So that if you get distracted, if a persistent thought keeps coming up, it doesn't have to be a deterrent. You don't have to have the answer why. You don't have to have You don't have to have the answer to the question why. Instead, you can practice softening and coming back to your breath. Staying with your breath here. Noticing how it feels to breathe. Noticing how it feels to take one breath at a time. And after sitting for this amount of time, even this short amount of time, you might notice if you're feeling challenging sensations in your body or sensations that you would label as challenging. What happens when you soften the thoughts about the sensations? And what happens if you take just one more breath? Can you be curious about that? Still tall and upright. Shoulders soft. Face and jaw softening, fingers and toes soft. Strong, intentional breath here. And the intention to be here. And I invite you to stay here as long as you like. When you're ready, you can wrap up your practice in whatever way feels good for you. And even that might take a little bit of practice. So you can be curious about that as well. Take as much time as you like. But thank you for joining me today. Keep taking care of yourself so you can take care of others. And I'll see you soon.